So I asked you guys in the last video what you wanted to see next with the Stark Varg, and it was almost unanimous. Everyone said that they wanted to see a battery range test, which is honestly what I wanted to do next with the bike also. But there's only one problem with that. You see, this bike right here needs that. And what is that? That is a Stark Varg powertrain, and we're gonna have to swap that powertrain into this bike. The reason being, there is likely a bad connector inside the inverter, which is causing some faults. So let's start by showing you what's happening. All right guys, so I'm gonna show you what's going on with the bike right now. Clearly we're up and running. See, it totally dies on me when I get on it hard, so. No power. Hopefully I can get this thing rolling again, we'll see. Power it back on. Click down. Cool, so we're riding again. So it just cuts out when you get on it really hard. Try it again here so you can see. See, that killed the bike right there. So yeah, no power. Method, just shut it off, turn it back on, and let's go put a new motor in this thing. Full disclosure, we are not doing a step-by-step tutorial on a Stark Varg motor replacement here. Once we got the bike torn down, we had a short window to get it put back together. So my focus naturally shifted from the camera to the bike. And admittedly, I neglected to film a bunch of this. It was almost an entire disassembly, but we did the entire powertrain swap in about 4 hours. Now that the bike's back together, I want to make an important acknowledgement here. Despite this being an unfortunate situation, there are two things that I cannot deny about Stark Future. First is their honesty. From the start, they don't hide stuff from me, whether it be the initial test in Spain or here as a customer. Secondly, they are absolutely on top of it. This controller fault happened on a Sunday afternoon, which was in the middle of the night in Spain. By Thursday morning, 4 days later, I had a complete new powertrain at my doorstep. I don't know any other manufacturer that you're going to see that type of response from. Anyways, let's see how this new motor and controller are performing. Back in action on the Varg. New motor, new controller, and everything's feeling really good. No issues. I expect to be saying that at the end of this ride, but that's why we got the camera on. So I'm gonna level with you guys and say, woo, kicked out the ass end there. Yeah, what was I saying? Was it disappointing to know that I had to pull the motor out of this thing? Yeah, it was. Seeing the bike in a bunch of different pieces definitely was something that made me a little uneasy. But that's a distant memory now that the bike is back together. What most impressed me from this unfortunate situation is the communication and the reaction from Stark when this did happen. So we were testing suspension when I figured it out. That was a Sunday, and it was in the middle of the night in Barcelona when that was figured out. So there next morning, which was my Monday morning, they had pinpointed the issue by logging into my bike and checking the error, which was a fault in the inverter. So they were able to recognize that remotely, which I thought that was pretty cool. But my point is, their reaction to figuring that out was pretty awesome. They shipped me a motor and controller, and I had that by Thursday. So 4 days after they figured out what the problem was, I had a motor and inverter on my doorstep. Was really impressed by the turnaround to get a solution for me on this bike. And that is something that I really need to pride Stark on. If they handle all of their customer service issues in that manner, or even half as good as that, then I would say that's a pretty darn good company right there. Because let's face it, guys, this is a brand new bike from a brand new manufacturer. This thing is like number 30 something, I think, off of the assembly line. And so there's gonna be issues. We have to accept that. This is brand new technology, brand new manufacturer. Nobody's perfect. You just have to expect that some people may have some issues, and hopefully they work out those issues quickly. In a way, I know that Stark has done a ton of testing internally, and that's why this bike is as good as it is, but until it's in customers' hands, in different scenarios, on different bikes, you don't really know what is gonna happen. And every company is gonna have some growing pains. So, something to keep in mind, something I just wanna point out, that's my perspective on this. You look at brands like Honda and KTM, leaders of our sport right now, and you can just look at their rich history. If you wanna just look at KTM, I mean, do you guys remember those bikes in the 90s? I'll just say they are not what they are today. That's for sure. Anyways, I'm not saying that for any other reason than just accepting the fact that, like I said earlier, this is a new brand with their first model of motorcycle, and stuff happens. So I'm not mad about it. We're back up and riding and things are good. And man, is it good to be back. Oh, I love this bike. Woo! Like I said at the beginning of the video, I know everybody basically unanimously wanted to see a range test, and so now that the bike's back up and running, the Tennessee knockout has concluded, and I'm back kind of on my regular schedule. We're gonna start doing some range testing for real. And that means me putting the camera down and just going and riding this thing. So I saw some people thinking that I'm like hiding range numbers or something, but I think what you don't see behind the scenes is when I'm doing these videos, it's not just like one start to finish ride. There's a lot more that goes into it, and it's really hard for me to do a complete range test if that wasn't the only objective of the day, if that makes sense. I need to start with the bike at 100%, and I need to ride it non-stop until the bike gets to 10% to give you an accurate number. Otherwise I'd just be guessing, and then I'm doing everybody a disservice. So that's why I haven't given you a range number yet, because I just haven't ridden this thing from 100% down to 0 yet. Once I say something, I can't really take it back, and so I just want it to be accurate before I put it out on the internet for a lot of people to see and interpret and probably repeat to other people. So we're gonna do it the right way. Sometimes the right way just takes a little bit more time.
So please stay tuned, and thanks for watching.